Hope that everybody is back from a coffee break. Our next session will be moderated by AAVIKSOO. And this is exactly what we started. If the previous session was about data and piloting, now we want to discuss the real world use cases. And we have some people who have gone through this pain, and we will hear what has been good and successful and what kind of problems we have, because it's, as usual, you might learn more from problems than from the absolute brilliant success. So Ain, please, floor is yours to govern this moderator for next 1.5 hours. Thank you.
Thank you. So, welcome back. My name is Ain. I'm trained as a medical doctor, but been bridging between healthcare and IT for the last 25 years. So that I usually say that I'm the last century guy. So I translate this thing that is happening very fast. I was trying to keep up with my children, and I thought that, well, I will, be sane and not become an old grumpy guy who says that, well, the world has gone crazy and I don't understand any of that. I gave up with TikTok. So I don't have a TikTok, and I don't think that I'm capable of understanding what it is. But I know it is. Therefore, my quotes also come from the last century. Peter Gibson in 1993 said that the future is here, it's just not very evenly distributed. So hopefully we will hear from the 3 panelists today how it is distributed in their respective countries, Denmark, Poland, Finland. But also, I think they are all very kind of knowledgeable people. They scan things what are also in other places, and they can probably also reflect how do they feel, where this future is, how much of that has arrived, and how much of these lessons we will not bring. Well, the lessons we will bring to the future, but maybe some of their hopes will have to be not abandoned, but recalibrated. Because that's what I feel you're going to hear, and at least from the discussions with the panelists earlier, this hopefully is the take-home message from here. So I will invite Peter LASBORG from Aalborg. He will set the scene, and you're going to hear new stuff here. So it's not, what you have heard, that AI will come and we don't need any more radiologists because AI will do all their job. But you'll also hear what AI can do, how it is coming to the hospital. Peter has been working both in the university hospital, but also on the other side, actually trying to bring technology to the hospitals. So Peter, please tell us your experiences.
Thank you very much, Shane. Thank you very much, and perhaps I will be the grumpy old man after the presentation, who knows? But thank you very much for inviting me here, and I'm very pleased to be here. And I will take you through a use case from the northern part of Denmark, the northern part of Jutland in Denmark. And what I will take you through is actually how we implemented the AI solution in mammography screening. We're working on a hospital in where we have around 700 patients per day in our radiology department, so it's quite a big department. In that we have, and I think this blew off. No, it's running, perfect. The agenda for now is a little bit about the Danish mammography screening program. It's a bit about, of course, how to prepare implementation, a lot about how will the doctors react on this, because it's actually the most important as a manager for a radiology department that we can keep our doctors still having the threats on not losing the AI solutions that will come in the future. So I will give you a little presentation of the results so far, some concerns, a lot of concerns, and some management considerations, and of course other projects that we are running in our radiology department, because we are not only running mammography screening program, we are running a lot of AI stuff. And I think, you must correct me, Elina, that there will be some time for questions after my presentation. Perfect, yeah. So a bit about the Danish mammography program. As we have in many countries, we have a mammography screening program as well in Denmark. This means that every woman between 50 and 69, they are invited every second year to have a mammography screening. Not a clinical mammography, but a screening, which means that we will take some images. The doctor will look at the images afterwards, and then you will have the results. And after the results, if there are any suspiciousness, then you can be invited to a clinical mammography as a second part of the rule out for cancer, whatever it might be. In the northern part of Jutland, we invite approximately 32,000 women every year. Not all of them accept our offer, but around 28,000 they examine per year. And around 150 women are every year diagnosed with the mammography, the mamma cancer in the screening program. Of course, then we have patients coming from the physicians as well, but not through the mammography screening program, but coming in with a tumor mass palpated in the breast or whatever it might be. So this was a bit background of the mammography screening program. And why should we go the AI way? Yeah, when we're having 28,000 women every year come to the mammography screening program, then we have a lot of images. And we don't have a lot of radiologists. Radiologists are very rare in Denmark. It's very difficult to do a recruitment on radiologists, and especially on radiologists with a specialty of mammography. So in our department, we only have 5 radiologists who can actually read mammographies. And it's, as I said, it's very, very difficult to have new doctors coming in. We do some recruitment from foreign countries as well, but it's very difficult learning the Danish language, which might be a bit different, especially a bit different from Spanish or Holland or whatever. So the recruitment situation forced us to think differently. Then in the northern region of Denmark, we also have some politicians. We are a public hospital, and the politicians in the northern part of Jutland, they are very, very highly focused on AI solution. This meant for us that there were a very, very big pressure from the politicians to see some AI implementation in the hospitals. Whether it was a radiology department, wards, whatever, but they wanted to see some action. How can we press on? How can we push the AI solution in the Danish healthcare system? So that was actually the main reasons why we were looking into AI. What can the AI help us with? Yeah. When we normally see mammography screenings, we have 2 doctors seeing at all images. 28,000 women, meaning the double of examinations, because we have 2 doctors seeing everything. This AI solution can actually rule out some of the patients, so we can decrease the number of radiology hours that we have to use on looking at the images. And we do that for the patients who are in the low or in the middle group of cancer. Then we decided, okay, we would only use the AI solution for the low patients, the low-risk patients, meaning that if we have a low-risk patient, then we will only have 1 doctor seeing the images together with the AI solution. So in that perspective, we can actually save around 38% of the patients for having 2 doctors looking at them. And in hours, that's very, very many working hours that we can actually save from the radiologists to have the AI solution looking at. And how did we then prepare the implementation? Yeah, there are lots of things, of course, when you're doing preparement of the implementation. One of our major concerns were that we had no project management at all on this project. We were not alone, but we were reaching out in any directions, vendors, IT, doctors, politicians, whatever. So we had no project management. This is actually the first try and error project in the northern part of Denmark. So it was very, very important for us to handle this as safe as we could. So one of my main focuses, when you're going to implement some AI solutions, please have a project management. It's really, really important. But we should try figuring out this ourselves. So we had some, of course, meetings with the vendors and the lead radiologist in the section. Then, of course, we had meetings on site with the vendors and radiologists. And why on site? Why is that important? If you're a vendor for a system, you know probably that meeting, having the connections, having the relations is so important for sales. And also in implementation of AI, I can absolutely recommend, please have the on-site meeting where you're looking face to face. You can feel the IT guys, some of them. You can feel the radiologists, and you can actually look at the vendors, look into their eyes and see, okay, how can we handle this? How can we solve this implementations together? Then we had a meeting with the capital region in Denmark, because they already had the same system that we bought. And when we are talking about buying, I told you before that there were 3 major reasons why we wanted the AI system: radiologists, recruitment, and the political level. And the political level was so much pushing us for having this system. At this time, when they agreed on having this system, we actually looked into 2 different systems, 2 different vendors. But the politicians said to us, you don't have the time to do the research, you have to take a solution right now, and what you have to take is the same solution as they have in the region capital. So we were more or less forced to have one solution, and that's not a good start for doctors. To force anything, to throw something into the mouth, it wasn't that good a start. But that was actually what we had to deal with. As mentioned, with no project management, we had to get around all these different stakeholders, the regional IT department, the vendor of the AI solution, that was one. Then we have the broker or the dealer, because that's another company in Denmark. Then, of course, we had the RISPACS vendor, who should collaborate with the vendor of the AI solutions, with the regional IT department, and of course with our radiologists. And then we had the radiology department as well. So this was more or less driven by the regional IT department and the radiology department. And clinicians versus project management, we just made so many mistakes. We didn't have a dedicated timeline. The broker, the dealer, he didn't care. Just selling the stuff, then we had to handle it. The regional IT department, they didn't have the experience to run these projects about implementation of AI, because this was actually the first project in the northern part of Denmark. So we were try and error way. So that was a bit about preparement of the implementation. But the most important I figured out was actually, how can we prepare the radiologists? Of course, we can prepare the radiologists for training, side-by-side training, see how the system works, intended use, so on. But the most important here is actually the human factor. Because the human factor here, when I had interviews with my doctors, I had 3 remarks. First of all, doctors are very, very proud of treating patients. They want to have the best treatment for the patients. So of course they ask me, can I trust the system? Can I really believe in the system is that good as the dealer or the vendor says it is? Can we trust this? Or will the patients fall out? And how can it be that this system, I'm a doctor, I've studied 15 years to be a good radiologist, a good mammography radiologist. How can it be that this damn system can handle the same patients as it took me 15 years to learn? It can't be true. And the last question, or the last concern, but not least, what will happen to my job? Will I lose my job? Why should I have an AI system incorporated in my organization if I lose my job? These 3 concerns are so major topics that you have to take into account every time you do an AI application, AI integration into an organization. I don't think this is especially for radiologists. I think it's very special for all doctors, perhaps for all human beings, but at least for doctors. And this was the most important topic I found out during our implementation. So listen to your doctors, listen to them, have a cup of coffee, another cup of coffee, and make sure that they are onboarded. What are the intentions of this? Are the intentions seen from my side as a manager to get rid of the radiologist? No, it isn't. We cannot get rid of the radiologist. It is not the intended use yet. Perhaps in 5, 8, 10 years it might be. We don't know. But listen to your employees, listen to your radiologists. Then, of course, we had to do some training for the radiologists. Like I mentioned, understanding the solution, doing the application training, what's the intended use of this, what are the pitfalls, and so on. That was the smallest part. The implementation part was actually the smallest part of this. The most important, that I was struggling with, was actually the mindset of the doctors. Then we went live, September in 23. We were ready. We did hell our breath, because this was the only chance. We knew that with a brand new AI solution, the first one in our region, the first one in our department, the first one for our IT department, and the fact that the politicians choose which system we should actually buy, then we only had one chance. We knew that if this went wrong, everyone would say, look what I said, it doesn't work. We can't treat our patients. It's not safe for our patients. So everything was prepared the best that we actually could. So we went live, and of course we had a hypercare period as well, but went live in 23. And what happened? What happens when people are getting used to an AI system that they haven't seen before? The AI system here, actually, it points out some lesions that might be breast cancer. And of course, our radiologists, they have to take into account, okay, these lesions that are pointed out by the AI system, is it breast cancer or is it not breast cancer? What we saw was, and what we still see with the system, is calcification. A lot of women have small microcalcifications in their breast, and absolutely not all of them are a kind of cancer. Some might be, but not all of them at all. But this system, this AI solution, it pointed out every single microcalcification. So from a start, our doctors were scared. They were scared like hell because they thought, oh, am I overseeing something here? Is the AI solution, is it actually better than me? I have to be sure. How about my own readings? Are they sure enough compared to the AI solution? Okay, so what we saw was this. When we started here in 23, if there are any suspiciousness, then we will take the patient to a clinical mammography. And in the clinical mammography, we will do a biopsy, and then the pathologist will look at the biopsy and see, is this cancer or is it not cancer? What we saw when we implemented the system was that our doctors got scared because they didn't want to overrule the AI solution in the beginning. So they sent a lot of patients to clinical mammography, and then we had a damn lot of biopsies. It could be a coincidence. It might be that a lot of patients, a lot of women actually had cancer. But of course, we had these results, and then we compared to the patients who actually had cancers. And there were no increase at all. So this is one of the pitfalls when implementing a new AI system, or whatever it is. Look at the baseline, expect that there will be some scariness in the beginning, handle it, and then we can actually see now we are lowering, we are getting back to the same level as we were before the implementation of the AI solution. So now we have what we call a recall rate, means that a patient goes from mammography screening to a clinical mammography. It's approximately 2%, a bit lower than 2%. And we have the detection rate with cancers, approximately the same, 0.6%. So this was actually an expression of scareness by the radiologist. They didn't expect the AI solution to work in that way, but we had to take into account that we would do a lot of more biopsies. So concerns and considerations from a management perspective. Project management is essential. We're radiologists, they're IT. We can do something, IT can do something, but product management, combining those two departments together, it's so essential. Listen, as I say, to your doctors, to your employees. Have them tell their story. What are their concerns? And ensure them that you will not lose your job. It is, hopefully, as safe as we expect. And after that, you must do some evidence-based follow-up to see if the quality is actually the way that you thought it was. And when we see at the quality, then we can see this overdiagnosis with the microcalcifications, but when we get rid of those, then actually the sensitivity and the specificity is exactly the same as our doctors. So this is, even though it was a top-down model, that ended up with a pretty good solution for us that we not love right now because we would better have the doctors, but we can handle it. And right now we're in a situation, if we could change back, we wouldn't change. So the AI solution in the mammography screening was implemented, and it will stay there for at least the next 10 years, in my opinion. Then also some considerations about what will happen with our junior radiologists, because of course we have senior radiologists who have many years of experience reading mammography screens, but how about the young ones? Can they be biased? Of course they can be biased, because when you have the marking with the AI solution, will they think themselves? Do they have the same experience as our older radiologists? No, they don't. So what will happen? Will it become not a decision supporting tool, but actually a decision tool? We don't know yet, but we are following that because we have to take into account that this is actually not a decision tool, it's only a decision supporting tool, and that's very important. Lastly, we have some other projects running up in the northern part of Denmark. We have 3 systems fully implemented. We have the Bone Expert, which is an AI system that reads a X-ray image and compare it with a lot of stuff, and then we can actually see how old the patient is compared to the X-ray image. Then we have the bone fracture, and the bone fracture reading is an AI solution that reads the images before the doctors read them, and then they can see if there's a fracture or no fracture, and then they can go to the emergency room, and then they can be treated there. And then we will have to take the images afterwards and have them run through a radiologist, just to ensure that nothing has been overseen. Then we have the MRI prostate. It's fully implemented as well. And then we had another AI project, a brain project from Apollo, a Danish company. And we spoke about this earlier this morning, because you can go 2 ways in having AI solution implemented. In my opinion, you can go the full Monty, you can go all the way and see, okay, we will do a research project on this AI solution. It's a 3-year PhD, whatever it is. It takes you around 2-3 years, and then you have the results. Then you have the results on a solution that's 3 years old. What have changed the last 3 years? This train run so fast that, in my opinion, we do not have the time for this. We have to take the chance. We have to take the chance to try and error. Not for all systems, of course, but if we believe a bit in the system, then you have to try it out. And sometimes you fail. We experienced that with Apollo. We failed. It was good-looking system, but the results were so bad that we couldn't use it in clinical practice. So it was skipped. We stopped the project. That's it. Then we're looking into 3 other AI solutions. They're in programs right now, but as we're moving a hospital right now in these days, we will skip the implementation 3, 4, 5 months like that. So this is some of the issues from the northern part of Denmark and a use case for mammography screening. Yeah. So that was from my side all now.
Yes. I told you, you're going to do new stuff, but there is a room for questions. Go ahead, please. The mic is also coming. Please wait for the people in the internet.
Hello, hello. My name is Anton Korp. I'm not a doctor, but I'm a project manager, the one who you have mentioned. I have a question. So, if I got you correctly, one of the problems you faced is a trust with your colleagues. What about the other side? What about the patients? Because my assumption, if I would know that I'm diagnosed by AI, and then yes, if I don't know the next step at all, I probably will not go to diagnose to you, because I might be skeptic, right? Now I know the second step. The second step is your AI is controlled by a doctor. But you have so many people during the year. How did you build trust with them? So they might know that they are now diagnosed in a different way.
Yeah.
So what about this trust on the other side? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I can answer it right
Sure.
Yeah,
Yes, well,
yeah, of course we have the patients as well, and there are some concerns from some of the patients, but I think that patients in Denmark they're not used to AI. Of course, this is new for them, but they're very positive in thinking of AI solutions. And we had some chats with some patients. We haven't seen any complaints yet, but we had some chats with some patients. And of course, they are told when they come to the mammography screening, they are told that the readings will be read out by AI solution and at least one of our experienced doctors. So I know mammography screening is a bit different from other programs, because some of the programs you only have one doctor reading the images, and if there are any suspiciousness here in the mammography screening, then we will of course have 2 doctors. So in that way, it makes sense, and the patients trust the system in that way. Of course, they don't have any idea how it works, but we can confidence them with that it's safe enough to use. Was that? Yeah.
That's good. My question was, is it the same level of trust from the other side still? Your answer, yes.
Yeah. It's still the same trust. Yeah.
Thanks. And then one question right now, but we will have hopefully discussion later on. So if
I have a very short question.
okay,
I had the mic this time. You remember for yesterday. Thank you for a wonderful explanation on how you actually implemented this. The easy question I had, how did you prepare this in the workflow? Was the AI doing the work first and was reviewed by the second radiologist or vice versa?
Yeah, it was the first solution that the AI works first and then the radiologist works afterwards. And of course, the AI images, the AI findings are blinded for the doctor, so he won't be biased. Yeah.
Thank you.
My short question.
okay.
Isn't the fact that the estimations about the lack of healthcare professionals, 1 million in 2030 in European region, isn't that a convincing argument for your colleagues to start replacing the unexisting workload with AI?
No, they're just demanding more colleagues, and they won't be there. Most of them can't see the big issue about AI yet. But of course, as we are still having the same recruitment problems, seeing the same lack of healthcare professionals in the future, they are more and more convinced that AI will be a part of their job in the future. But doctors are not fond of it.
So thank you once again. Sorry, you will hear more interesting stuff. So thank you, Peter, for this time. You will come later on the stage as we agreed. And now I hope that we will have Krzysztof on the screen, joining us live from Poland. And so make some noise. Can you hear us? So that
Yes, I'm there.
Good, good. So Krzysztof is an urologist, and I think that where Peter left off, which is that how to get doctors to start using these solutions. The story you're going to hear from Krzysztof very well fits into this work. In another domain, radiology, though, as he's the head of Urologic Malignancies and also a professor at the Oncologic Urology in Wroclaw University. Please, go ahead and blow their socks off.
Oh, I don't think I can, because I think I'm a boomer when I look at my sons. And I gave up with TikTok too, so I will try to do my best. Thank you for this very kind invitation. I'm sorry that I cannot join you live, but I have several working issues right now, and that's why I'm connecting with you only via the internet. I'm doing some AI research and implementation since, I would say, 2020. So it's been 5 years, which is short and long the same. And from one point of view, I'm the one who's responsible for implementing AI programs and AI things into the clinical practice. And from the other point of view, I'm also, let's say, a developer in a very broad sense of meaning of that word. And I would like to show you today what we have achieved during the last several years, and the platform that we have developed and created for AI interpretation of MRI images of the prostate. I hope you can see the presentation right now, the PDF. Can you see the presentation?
Yeah, we can see, but it's not yet in the presenter mode. So if you can...
Okay, I'll try. I'll try to switch. Oh.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
Perfect, okay. So the program which I will be talking about is the AI for AR, which is AI-aided or AI-augmented MRI interpretation of the prostate MRIs. We have developed it together with our colleagues from Warsaw, but I'll come to that back to that in a little bit later. Why did we go into this project? Because first of all, prostate cancer is on the rise. Actually, we are experiencing a flood of prostate cancer in the near future. And the statistics among European countries are terrifying. We can expect a rise of prostate cancer incidence by 1/3 at least during the next 15 years. And there's an estimate that the mortality rate will rise also by 25 to 30% in the next 15 years. This causes that the amount of the radiologists that we require and so on is huge and is rising. And we have to take into account that before prostate diagnostics, actually before each prostate biopsy, when you suspect prostate cancer, an MRI should be performed. The same at all staging, so at all processes that lead to our understanding how developed the prostate cancer is, which also include MRI imaging. And more to that, some screening programs have already been introduced, and some are during investigation and during implementation. So we can experience a dramatic rise in the need for not only the MRI machines, but also for MRI skilled radiologists that will need to interpret those images. And there is also the need for rising the quality of our MRI imaging, not only from technical point of view, but also from interpretational point of view, because interpreting MRI images of the prostate is something that is really difficult, and it is also time consuming. So not every radiologist that is apt at MRI is also skilled in prostate MRI reading. Me as a urologist who sees all the descriptions of MRIs done by radiologists, and then I'm performing prostatectomy. So I remove the prostates. I am also doing prostate biopsies. I can really look and compare what I see on the image that was interpreted by the radiologist with what I get from my biopsy. So I am a very so I'm a person that is really has to let how to put that is really into.
Is that the connection problem, right? Okay, let's.
Interpreting again what the radiologist. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you, but we lost you for about a minute.
Yeah, sorry for that. Sorry for that. As I said, there is also a need for additional training that has to be done to the radiologists, whom we are trying to get more skilled in prostate imaging reading. So those automated prostate interpretation problems might solve some of those problems, but so far they cannot be used as a sole interpretation mean of MRI image. And we have analyzed in our hospital all those programs that are commercially available, and actually we came with no program that met our needs and met our trust issues, which have been mentioned during previous lecture. And that's why we have decided to go through our own way. And we have decided to create our own, after the need assessment, our own program, our own AI protocol. And we have applied for a grant, and we have won it. And then we have cooperated with our Laboratory of Applied Artificial Intelligence in Warsaw. And we have started our cooperation more than 5 years ago. We have also had all those issues that you had with your implementation. So at the beginning, we're not really aware how complex this would be, how many additional things from only research and idea and just doing things as we have planned them will come up. So what you have said during your previous lecture is that you need to have a project manager, somebody who is really into the project, who has all the threads in his hand, is everything inside projects. So this is something that I'm really stressing again. And what we have envisioned in our program is not only the program that finds the prostate cancer, it also we wanted it to have the ability to delineate the prostate gland and the zones of prostate gland, so that it can also find a cancer lesion and can delineate it, do staging, and also that it can be a training platform for our young radiologists and urologists in order to gain the abilities of MRI reading faster. And what we have done is we have actually nearly finished the project. We are just writing our reviews right now. We have created an MRI machine, MRI protocol, using more than 800 sets of multiparametric MRIs from our hospital. Each MRI set was accompanied by a clinical data, and it was and all the delineations and all the whole process was done by 3 expert radiologists. So each MRI set was delineated by 3 expert radiologists, and we have used for AI protocol training for only those images that were concordant, so that all three radiologists agreed that this is the cancer, that this is exactly the prostate capsule, and so on. So it was a very tedious work. It took a lot of time and a lot of commitment from our radiologists, but we have also used different clinical significance model than usually is done by the companies that produce such modalities, and that's why we think that our solution is quite unique. It's not on the market yet, but it's quite unique. And what we have achieved is one thing, that we have integrated our AI machine with DICOM reading software, and we can get such beautiful images with delineation of different prostate zones, and also delineation of the cancer itself in there. We have achieved an automated interpretation tool that gives us a very detailed report that is being transferred to us, and then there is a structured reporting tool that uses the tools that we are using as a standard reporting tool right now. And also, as I said, we have created an education module where you can track, and you can enter, and you can even track your progress and so on. And all our results and all our research can be actually already seen on the web page. This is the internet address for this, where you can really experience what we have done. We have in detail described everything. We have also published the database there, which we have used for training, which is also very unique. And you can access all the results and data there. One of the problems with databases, with training databases, is finding this is something that for me as a doctor is a very concerning thing. Actually, very few companies that have developed the AI protocol of some sort publish their training cohorts in which they have used. They do not publish usually the imaging, the clinical data that has been used. We do not know what the concordance rate is, and so on and so on. So actually what you get is a solution that you have a very nice description of in the folder. But if you want to dig deeper, for example, if you do not experience here a training bias, for example, you do not have a chance like this. So that is one of the concerns that most doctors have, that you do not have this red button which you can push, and get additional information about what has been, what was the ground truth for this AI protocol training, what was the training cohort. Can you also use this training cohort, which we also made it open for everybody? So this is one of those concerns that led us to the development of this protocol. And the platform is already in place, and there is a demo of the reporting platform and the structured reporting platform there, and also of the tool that will be made used in the future for prostate cancer diagnosis. I hope that the film will start and that you can see it. This is a very short description of the whole project and of our education platform.
We don't have the audio, do we? Okay, so that you know, Krzysztof, we do not have the audio, so you can do the voiceover.
Okay, I will. Sorry. Okay.
No worries.
Okay, so this is how the platform looks like. It is live right now, and it is open. And for us, it's a very interesting tool that can be used by young radiologists and young urologists to gain the knowledge about the MRI reading skills. We are coming here, of course, to this question that you have already came with, the bias of whether this is a prostate cancer decision aiding tool, or is this the tool that will replace the radiologist in his decision? This training platform is a platform for training only. It will not have any influence on the description of the that is being done by the radiologists. Here you can also track your progress. You can see how close to the AI-aided decision you were. And this gives you additional training possibilities to the training that you are getting from your older radiology colleagues during your normal radiological training. I will maybe skip the whole some of this because it's
thank you. If you
I think too long.
Krzysztof, if you can now, I know we have nice summary slides as well for like 2 or 3 minutes. Then we have also Q&A because I do feel that there are questions from the audience.
Okay, so where we want to use this MRI tool is for standard diagnostic interpretation in the future. As an aiding tool. It will be, we are investigating it right now as a screening tool for prostate cancer screening in one of our projects. But we think it can be used also for prostate fusion biopsies, for focal therapy of prostate cancer, for radiotherapy, and as an educated platform for urologists. And actually, this is the whole team that has worked for those 5 years of developing this solution. And everybody has been really put into a lot of strain to develop it. So I will stop sharing.
Thank you.
I'm back.
First, please make an applause. I think you were too modest in the beginning, so certainly worthwhile presentation and very, very well fitted as a continuation to Peter's one. Do you have questions from the audience? Yes, there is a hand up.
Hello, my name is Marina Totma, coming from Sweden, and my son is urologist. How is this system working with the patient record? Is it integrated, or the doctor have to log into the other system to see the results, or?
This system doesn't have a medical certification yet. We are beginning the process of getting a medical device marking. So this is still in the process. So we have not integrated it with our hospital records yet. But we have tried to do that, and we see that the integration with the DICOM reader went actually, when we did it, not on a live system, but on a system that was cut off from our main server, went very well. So far, we are using it only for research purposes and only as a research tool. So we are not using it for everyday prostate cancer diagnosis yet. So as I said, this requires some additional time and getting the CE markings and everything.
Thank you. And I personally would like to kind of emphasize that You also demonstrated very well that AI can get into the hospital in more than many ways. So that it might be that the minister will tell you, Peter, you must start using this solution, or it might be that actually, you know, doctors turn to programmers and then develop it, and then the ownership probably will be also different. And yet you also highlighted that the project management still needs to be there. So did I understand correctly that from the start you had at least the initial goal that it will be like a training and additional tool for the doctors, not a diagnostic tool in the first place? Or did this come to you later?
No, it was like a combination. We have had a meeting, which was actually by surprise, actually. We met with this now friend of mine, but with this guy from Warsaw during the conference. And he approached me because he was an AI researcher, and he said that he sees a lot of possibilities of cooperation between urologists, radiologists, and AI experts. And we have discussed what types of needs we have, what is those things that we really require. And we have gone through a lot of different ideas, and we stayed with prostate cancer because, as I said, this is the reading of prostate MRI is difficult and it requires a lot of skills and a lot of time to learn those skills. So at the beginning, the only idea was to develop only a educational platform. But afterwards, we have already also investigated, you know, what is the market of such programs, what is available there. And actually, we have went over so many different solutions. Also, the solution that was mentioned during previous talk, and all of them had so many flaws or so many trust issues from our side that we decided to definitely start with something new. And then another idea came. So if we already develop something that will aid us in our training, then maybe we can just broaden it a little bit and make also a clinical tool from that. And actually those two ideas merged from the beginning, and we developed it in two directions during the same time.
Thank you. Once again, I hope that you will stay us. We will have hopefully a few minutes to discuss also in the end the joint learned lessons. We have next presentation also coming from Finland, so that we heard from Peter what some vendors have produced, then established, and then doctors are using them. We heard how you can develop these solutions from within your own need and understanding. And then Sitra, which is the Finnish Innovation Fund, where Elina is a senior lead, can also support. And Elina will tell how and what exactly has been happening in Finland. And I'm looking forward then also to the discussion in the end. So please.
Perfect. Thank you very much, and thank you for the invitation to come here and also share the lessons learned from Finland and the case examples, the pilot projects. So I will be still talking about the pilot projects, Janus, and also data, but share some of these lessons learned, because we think that these are also valuable and can also inspire your work. I am going to be talking a little bit about Sitra, but I have the slogan, our slogan here left. I decided not to change it. It's actions for the future. That is what we do at Sitra. And I also hope that in our panel discussion, we will be then talking a little bit more about the actions for the future and what will be needed for tomorrow or in the longer run. And so my presentation content, I will share a few words very briefly about Sitra, because not maybe all of you are so familiar with it. I will provide a couple of case examples and also discuss the challenges and opportunities, what we have observed so far based on those case examples, but also more broadly. And also in the end, I will share some lessons learned. So we as Sitra, we are the funding agency, independent funding agency. Sitra was founded in 1967. We are directly under the Finnish parliament. Oh, something happened. And we are, of course, the future house of Finland. So we have this role, we have the responsibility to be looking more towards in the future. So we anticipate the future, we drive societal change at many levels, and we accelerate solutions to different societal problems. We work in areas such as circular economy and green transition. We also work on democracy, try to diminish the polarization in society. We also work on sustainable economic growth and productivity in the public sector. And of course, we work also in the field of digital health, using data and AI for the benefit of the society. So we are a futurist. We do a lot of scenario building. We also have this quite famous report, Megatrend report, that comes every 3 years. But we are also innovation driver and partner in many EU projects, but also international projects. And we are happy to collaborate with all of you. And we are also a funder. So we fund pilot projects. They are small-scale projects. Now we are expanding a little bit more also for the scale-up phase. So for that purpose, we also have or establish programs. But these programs are then run together with the partners. So we don't run them by ourselves. So that is shortly about Sitra. And I actually want to come back a little bit to the context, why we are talking about AI and what is needed for AI. Of course, yesterday we talked already about health data and EHDS, but I wanted to have this slide to remind you about the context. So the future of the European competitiveness and growth, and it is at stake, as was also concluded in this Mario Draghi's report. And health data is, of course, really key to this advancing competitiveness at the European level, and also to boost innovation and research in this area. And of course, we believe that this will also then improve public health. So the European health data space is really seen as a catalyst to really promote this development and improve digital health in the single market. So Sitra leads this work in TUPIKOWSKI. I'm sorry for repeating myself, but I always have to mention TUPIKOWSKI when I'm speaking. So Sitra is the coordinator of TUPIKOWSKI Joint Action, and we are really preparing the ground for the implementation of the European health data space. And we have almost 70 organizations involved in this work. We are doing this together with 29 European countries. So 27 plus Norway and Iceland, because everybody wants to be involved. And of course, this work also builds upon our previous efforts in this field. So we have been working in digitalization and digital health for several years already. But now let's move on to these case examples. So you know, many countries are facing the same challenge as we are. We already talked about it, aging population, workforce shortages. There's a lot of economic pressure, a lot of savings that you have to make, not only at the national level, but also at the organizational level. We know that the medical record keeping is taking a lot of time from the health professionals. They are not satisfied how their time is used, because it's not used for the patient interaction. It is used that they are seeing the patient and then typing, trying to get everything down what the patient is saying. And this is, of course, not very efficient way of working. So Sitra has funded 3 pilot projects in this area in 3 welfare regions. I call them welfare regions because they are welfare regions. Officially, the wording is that they are well-being service counties. And this is, Political compromise, and not even the officials and the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare aren't using this term, so I am not using it either. We can call them welfare regions. And the AI drafted these patient records during their appointments. So it's really free time from the doctors and healthcare professionals and allowed the doctors to focus on this patient interaction. It also improved the quality of experience, both for the healthcare professionals, but also for the patients. The doctors actually reported higher job satisfaction during these pilots. And then the patients were actually more satisfied with the end product. They thought that the summary that they got, it was more understandable than what they had received before from the doctor writing. So there was actually very encouraging results from these very short time period pilots. But I want to emphasize that the responsibility really lied still on the hands of the professionals. So the AI drafted, but it was the doctor or the health professional then checking that it was correct, making modifications if necessary, and then it was this version that was then put forward to MyKanta and the patient record systems. And it was concluded also that some of these most advanced versions, they really produced high-quality documents already. But, there's always but, there was also need for development to even further improve the quality and also the processes. Of course, this can be a little bit biased results because the patients knew if the AI was doing this, and the patients had the chance to say no if they didn't want the AI to be there. But everyone was very willing to participate this. So this was also a bit surprising. But then you can also think that because they didn't know, maybe the patients were very pro AI, so because they knew that AI was doing this recording in the background. But it's still very, very valuable and good results. These were so encouraging results that now these 3 pilots are actually being continued in another continuation project or in other continuation projects, and these are financed by the Finnish Ministry of Health and Social Welfare as part of the 10 new projects that were then kicked off after these Sitra projects. But of course, we also saw that there were some challenges. The permit processes required to use these solutions, they took more time and resources than was previously thought. And it was suggested that more specific guidelines would be needed to help with the permit process, but also the interpretations of the legislation at the national level. So this was the first case, and now moving on to the second case. I cannot tell you anything about the results yet, because these projects really just started. These were funded, 4 projects are being funded from the funding goal this year. And the theme was proactive healthcare and social services. And these projects will run until the end of, not end of next year, but end of June next year. And this is what we consider high-value AI, moving more to the proactive side, moving more to the preventative health. So this can help really shift the focus from being reactive to proactive. And in this way, we can also target the investigations and treatments more individually. They can be more personalized, but also in this way, we can use the resources much more efficiently and also in a more impactful manner. So Sitra has funded these 4 pilot projects. They all are developing proactive models for disease prevention and care. For example, one project helps primary care physicians to identify high-risk patients and also care gaps. And this is done by using the so-called health benefit assessment tool that is integrating our Kanta data. And then another project is working on the proactive identification of mental health challenges among young persons, really also helping to move on with the early identification and also to target the sort of the interventions in an earlier phase. And then third project is working on identification on medication risks, and this will be especially beneficial for patients who have multiple long-term illnesses and are using various medications. And then one project is focusing to improve patient safety and trying to prevent also adverse events and near misses in patient care. So what are the challenges and also opportunities? What we have observed, of course, also related, well, not news to anyone to you, but there are, of course, many challenges related to data quality and interoperability. The data is still fragmented, unstructured. There are inconsistencies in vocabularies across hospitals. For example, for one standard lab test, you can have 20 different ways of recording that. So that is just one concrete example. Also, workflow integration issues can be seen that the AI tools can risk also adding a burden for the healthcare professionals unless it is then seamlessly embedded in the clinical processes and practices. The legal ambiguity, we talked also in the panel before about the heavy regulations. Of course, the regulations are there for specific purpose. They are there to protect us and also to protect our data. It is sensitive data, but we also see that it's not always only regulations, but the interpretations and more streamlining would be needed in that regard. It's also...
In 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's also that at the national level, we have national legislation in the healthcare setting. Well, the pieces are maybe around 20 or so, the main active major legislation. So it's not only the legislation coming from the European level, but we really have a lot of additional legislation at the national level. And of course, there are the resource constraints that everybody is familiar with. But on the other hand, we see that there are opportunities, there are solutions, things are already happening. We should continue those efforts, structured data capture, data quality, continue the data work, involving experts, patients, clinicians in this whole work, as was also mentioned before. There's a lot of progress in terms of the regulatory sandboxes that can be used, and member states will be using those. And of course, we heard about the change management tools that KAIDIX project has, for example, developed. They are already there, so there are many helpful tools available. But what is also needed is earmarked funding for the validation, but also for the scaling part. So very briefly about the lessons learned. Legislative renewals towards enabling regulation. So this is, of course, what the Finnish Ministry of Health and Social Welfare is already working on. There are major initiatives ongoing in terms of the update of the legislation in several areas related to healthcare and AI and how to better use data. And of course, the continuous training of healthcare professionals. We know that this is needed at various levels, not only at the operational level, but also the leadership training at the top level. And funding models and incentives, we need to be thinking what are also the disincentives. So what is happening, how can we better also transform the path towards sustainable funding models? And I want to share a very good example, concrete example, what we do in Finland. We have a network, AI ecosystem network that is coordinated by the Finnish Ministry of Health. And there, all these projects are sharing their lessons learned. They are sharing their experiences, what have been the problems, how can we speed up the development in this area. And they are also, because it's an ecosystem approach, they are not trying to advance only one aspect, but they are really trying to look at the whole issue as a whole. And my concluding message, key message, is really that it's all about high quality data. We discussed this also yesterday, but what is actually missing? The data work and development have been clearly under-supported when we think how important data actually is. So under-supported, but also under-financed, I would say. Because everybody is so excited about developing new models, new algorithms. It's more exciting. So we are not doing the groundwork that we should be. And I won't go into this picture anymore. The panel will discuss it, but thank you.
Thank you. Sure, there is room for questions for Elina as well, but Peter, maybe you can already join us on the stage so that we can smoothly go into joint discussion. But yeah, a question specifically for Elina. There is one here. 2 questions. Okay. Peter, you could join.
Thank you. Actually, quite specific questions. On this mental health, the tool, are you using some other information because young people, the data, if it comes only for EHR, I am not sure that you will get much prediction about the mental health problems. So is there a provided
There's more
access?
data. There's more data than all.
About that person, you go to social media or what kind of data is there?
Well, there I cannot answer more specifically because we haven't had the results yet. So it's not public information yet.
Okay, but good to know. Would be good to know when it would be published. And my second question is about this innovation-friendly approach. Is it that you encourage more to use the public procurement in terms of pre-commercial procurement or public procurement for innovation, these kind of mechanisms? Are you taking into account the value-based healthcare principles, or what is it?
That's a very good question, and it's not only one thing. So I think also there we need to adapt that to the different contexts. But what Sitra is often promoting are the public-private partnerships, because we have seen how beneficial they are, and they are needed more in the future. We have actually even written one white paper about the public and private partnerships, and we do hope that we would have more. We would use more of those in Finland in the future.
Thank you. So good, Krzysztof, that you're also with us. I know that when you will be called from the operating theatre, you will run, as we heard, patients come first. But until then, we have opportunity to really try to elaborate what do we think that we learned from these presentations. So I can say that first we heard, indeed, the future is already here. We heard that there are already certified, ready-made solutions. And then on the other extreme, there are solutions which are even not yet public. So somebody's cooking something and then the magic happens and AI will save the world. Now, on a more serious note, I wanted to bring to this discussion one thing that Peter, you mentioned, and actually it came through from the others, which is that how do we get, I don't know, quicker and better solutions to be actually used? And maybe the part that was repeated constantly, that engaging with the doctors and you know, having good project management aside for a moment, but from the regulatory and assessment point of view, this technology advances so fast, which in one hand could mean that we can get better tools quicker, but it also means that if we go it wrong, the risks are also higher. And then maybe in all of your either specific use cases or from your countries, can you tell 2 or 3 words, what do you either know is good and already supporting, or what you dream or at least suggest could be different in terms of getting these technologies faster but still safely implemented in the clinical context? So Peter, yep. Maybe you can start.
Yeah. Seen from a public hospitals in Denmark, it's actually courage for the politicians to make wrong decisions, and especially in an election year as we have right now in Denmark, it's complicated. But I think that they have to encourage, and they have to take the chance on trying.
Can you elaborate? Yeah. Wrong in what sense? I mean, I don't think that you mean that wrong in terms of, you know, patients, you know, don't get the treatment. But
no.
Exactly. So what is this mistake that you believe they are afraid of making and you encourage them should not be there?
They're afraid of losing money. Of course they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. And that's one of the major problems or concerns we have in Denmark. How can we actually be sure that the data used for a specific AI application is on the right population? Should it be on the Nordic, Danish population, or could we actually buy a system which is already proven for a French population, whatever? Mm-hmm. And some of the researchers in Denmark, at least, they will clarify that we have to do it on local population, more or less on the village level. but of course we cannot do that, because if we have to do that, it will take too long. Right. So try and error, of course, on CE marks or system that's near there, as Krzysztof mentioned. Yeah.
Okay, Krzysztof, can you tell, in your view, in your hospital, and maybe you can, you know, reflect on the Poland on a larger scale. Do you believe that these technologies are coming fast enough, and or if you see something could be changed either in your country or in general, what would be your dream or suggestion?
I think that the reply to this question is not easy. Is it coming fast enough from one point of view? Yes. From the other point of view, definitely no. There are so many processes that require better management, like, for example, radiological descriptions and so on, that actually we are sometimes not even aware how many processes can be aided with AI tools. And I think that the interplay and the intertalk between doctors and companies and finding like a platform to cooperate and to talk and to understand each other, because we are sometimes talking different languages, would bring the most from the contacts and would definitely boost the research. I think that the major problem is that we do not have some sort of general direction that we will all follow. This is from one point of view a good thing, because we can go in many different directions. But from the other point of view, the AI research is very undirected. We are going in so many ways that sometimes we are losing times producing same solutions, which are not really better than the ones that we already have. So I think that there is a lot of happening, sometimes too much happening in some places, and the other places are definitely underpowered and underfinanced, like the data management, for example. This is something that has to be definitely strengthened in the future, so that we have better data for AI protocols development in the future. So this is one of the directions definitely that has to change. And I see in my country right now that there is a lot of happening in data quality because we are introducing the full electronic medical records, and they have to be structured. So the doctor does not have to describe the same result in 20 different ways or use 20 different words to describe the same thing, which is very difficult then to feed to AI. But there will be one word, one type of description of the same thing, which is then definitely AI compatible in the future. And this is one thing that, in my opinion, should be done in all the countries in the EU and not only in EU.
Thank you. And Elina, then, well, you are working in an organization who looks into the future and does these megatrends. Can you encourage all of us here that basically the story that we heard today is that we probably overestimate the immediate effect and gains and benefits from this, now I think it has been proven, transformative technology. And then we also underestimate what it actually can deliver us in the medium term. And then maybe what Peter told us that, the first steps are the ones when you really need to learn the beast. And then gradually you, either through these solutions that you develop themselves or together with the specialists, and then innovation agencies and all those techno-optimists like myself actually will have partnership with the clinicians that then at some point it will speed up, but then in the right direction. Because if you go with a high speed in the wrong direction, the problem is that then to go back is actually twice as long road. So can you give us this encouragement?
Yeah, definitely. I think what you are saying is absolutely correct. And that was actually my last slide in the presentation, this Gartner's hype cycle of innovation. And they have also applied it for the artificial intelligence, the last slide. So it actually shows this curve of really exponential growth of expectations. It creates some sort of hype, we can see. It has actually been adapted also to other technologies, emerging technologies. This hype cycle has been used, for example, for nanotechnology. It has been proven that in the beginning there was quite a hype in early 2000. And then the expectations started to come down a little bit because you saw how it could be applied then in practice, in reality. And of course that the change didn't happen as fast as people expected first. So that also lowered expectations because there was also a lot of regulation. I used to work myself first in the nanosafety research area. So it was also very exciting to see this hype cycle for nanotechnology. And it has been also said that the hype cycle exists also for the quantum technologies. But now for artificial intelligence, this graph is already a little bit outdated because things happen really fast when we are talking about AI. So it will be interesting to see if this graph actually predicts some kind of future. They say that all models are wrong, but some are more useful than others. But yeah, maybe you can just also, as audience, you can reflect, like, where do you think that you believe that the AI is on this hype cycle? But I think that it resembles still some truth in it, because we do have really huge expectations, but also based on the pilots that we have witnessed and we have funded, we are coming a little bit down from the worst hype. And I also love the picture, Lars, that you were showing, the painting, that the other one is pointing up. So are we pointing up or are we pointing towards reality? I think the line is maybe somewhere there in the middle. But yeah, I think it will be very interesting to see in the future. It develops so fast.
Okay, thank you. You make notes, Peter. Is there anything that, before I ask something stupid, that you have actually a smart thought written down there that you want to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, please go, because I don't know, because I think you wrote down something very smart, which I don't want to spoil with my question.
Okay, and not just with the bully guy, but one of our concerns from a clinical perspective is actually about data handling and data validation as well, because we can go the traditional research way and so, but if now you're asking talking about where will we go in the future, and of course we have still, at least in the radiology issue set up, then we have some limitations because it's still a supporting tool. It's not a decision tool. And my concern is actually, and perhaps Krzysztof can speak about that as well, but how can we ensure that when we have to use human beings for validating the data, how can we ensure that on a longer perspective that they actually have the skills? Because when we're having the AI, we know that it's very, very difficult not to be biased. And how can we ensure that the skills are still there in 5 years, in 10 years, if the AI solutions are still supporting tools and not direct decision tools?
So do you understand correctly that if humans lose certain ability, then who is controlling that the AI is doing the right job?
Exactly.
Okay, interesting. So
vice versa.
Yeah, Krzysztof, you have built a trainer for the doctors.
Yeah.
And at some point, I mean, you don't have your professorship, or at least you can do cool research, and the training will be done by the AI assistant. Are you afraid that this assistant, will start hallucinating at some point, and there's no one to have an oversight on it?
This is a magnificent question, and I am not the one who can answer it. I have exactly the same problem right now with the robot technology, because we are introducing operating robots, the Da Vinci's and other machines into our daily practice. And my doctors are losing their open operating skills and laparoscopic operating skills, and they're getting better and better at robotic operating skills. And if, let's say, we can imagine that something bad happens coming from the East, then we do not have such a technology in the future. And we have to start operating open on laparoscopic again. And then we do not have those abilities because we lost them. And this is exactly the same with AI technology. What will happen in the future if we rely more and more heavily on the AI? So as I said, we don't have answers to that. And this is a rising concern in medical society, but not the whole medical society, because we're more overexcited about the technologies or trying actually to get rid of them. So actually, I would say there are more extremes than not most people being sensible somewhere in the middle. And actually, I do not have a very good answer to that. But I would definitely stick to an idea that all AI protocols have to be human supervised. And all decisions done by the AI protocols, I mean, like radiological descriptions here, have to be accepted by a human being. You said about the training tool that we have created. Yes, we have created it, but on the base of 3 very experienced radiologists. And actually the concordance between their description and the description of our AI protocol is something around 97%. So it's even better than the concordance between those 3 radiologists right now. So if they describe those 3 images, the one image one by one. So I would say as a training tool, definitely yes. As an autonomic decision tool, AI, definitely too early. So this is my opinion.
Okay, thank you. And I will give kind of heads up warning. So please think for the kind of your final one sentence dream for AI in your clinical practice, or in your case, Elina, perhaps what? Well, I think you could think of as a patient. So in 5 years' time, what do you wish your doctor, or in a preventative setting, would use? But until you think that dream of yours, what I can resonate then with just this last part of discussion is that I think there has been made a few research publications now where they say that people get lazy when they use AI. And what I have actually learned, and my enthusiasm to the LLM bit came immediately when it was public. But I think that by today, I do more thinking when working with these models than less thinking, because I know, it's a junior collaborator, but with junior collaborators or colleagues, I know that I assume that they can make mistakes, just that the LLM and the AI can shoot you, hundreds of bullet points at a time, which means that to process all that through takes just more time. But at least I think that what you say, that if to generalize that, we should certainly have our AI to be there. It can do certain things faster, efficiently, but at the same time to maintain this skill of thinking. And how to do that, I agree with you, Krzysztof. It's not an easy task, because by nature we are very lazy. So if somebody gets 80% right and we're tired, and it's 1 second to the lunch, I mean, I might just go with the computer's response. So there will be now altogether 90 seconds before you get to your food, and please, your dream for the in 5 years' time.
Well, I think for me, it's whether you are a patient or whether you are working in a hospital or in a public organization or private organization, I think everybody should be more prepared to use AI, and I think we should also prepare for the novel kind of risks. We know that also malicious AI agents are there and will be there, and we have to be prepared.
Thank you. Krzysztof, your dream.
That we are not scared, but we are definitely more aware of the AI that is surrounding us and what can it bring us and what is the threat of AI in the future.
Thank you. I think that very well resonates what Peter started with, is that first we need to get over this little bit scaredness.
Scaredness, yeah.
Yeah. So your dream in 5 years' time.
Get rid of the scaredness, try it, and accept that you have to fail on this as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the most important in my opinion. And then of course spare some time for the complicated cases instead of using it for bread and butter. And the doctors, they will be on the train.
Okay.
No doubt about that.
So thank you. I think this is a good message. Don't worry, you will all fail, but you won't get there if you don't start. So thank you to the
failure
panelists.
is part of success.
Krzysztof, please remain with us. We're going to take a photo as well. So, and now there is food.
And everybody should be back in 45 minutes here.
I have to be leaving for the operation room, so I'm really sorry.
Thank you, Krzysztof. Thank you. All the best.